Are we on the brink of a major shakeup in Vancouver? With contract negotiations hitting a snag, there's a palpable tension in the air as fans wonder if a beloved player could be on the move. Speculation is swirling, and while we can't reveal names just yet, the stakes have never been higher for our Canucks. Will we see a trade that reshapes the team's future, or can a deal be struck to keep this star in blue and green? Stick around to find out, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button to stay in the loop on all things Vancouver Canucks. As the contract negotiations between Brock Boeser and the Vancouver Canucks seem to hit a standstill, the prospect of a trade before the March 7 deadline grows increasingly likely. Boeser, who has expressed frustration over the perceived lack of urgency from the Canucks, has made it clear that he desires a long-term deal, somewhere in the realm of 7 to 8 years, while the Canucks are only willing to commit to 5. This ticking clock could force the Canucks to consider trading Boeser rather than risk losing him without any return. So, where could Boeser potentially land? Let's dive into 5 intriguing trade destinations that have been discussed in the rumor mill. First up, we have the Minnesota Wild. The idea of Boeser returning to his home state makes a lot of sense, especially considering the Wild's current struggles offensively, particularly with superstar Kirill Kaprizov sidelined. Boeser is a proven goal scorer, consistently netting 25-30 goals a season, and he could be an ideal fit alongside Matt Boldy and Ryan Hartman. However, the Wild would need to navigate the complexities of the salary cap to make it work. It's worth noting that they were interested in Boeser the last time his name was floated in trade talks, but they couldn't make the financials work. Could they figure it out this time? According to Michael Russo from The Athletic, there's definitely interest there. Next, we have the Ottawa Senators. With Brock's former coach, Travis Green, now behind the bench in Ottawa, this potential move feels almost poetic. The Senators are in a tight race for a wild-card spot in the Eastern Conference, and they're eager to make the playoffs for the first time in years. Bringing in a player of Boeser's caliber would undoubtedly bolster their offensive lineup and improve their power play. However, salary cap concerns linger, and the Canucks would likely prefer a player who could contribute immediately. A swap involving Josh Norris could make sense, but is the risk of Norris's $795 million cap hit worth it for the Canucks? It's a gamble that could pay off if he returns to form, but I'm torn on whether this is the best path forward. Then, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets. They've been a bit of a surprise story this season, clinging to a wild card spot in the East. After a tough season marked by losses, including Johnny Gaudreau, they desperately need a spark. The Blue Jackets have ample cap space and could easily offer Boeser a long-term extension. Plus, they possess a treasure trove of draft picks, including 2 first-rounders this upcoming summer. Would the Canucks be willing to part with Boeser for a package that includes future assets? It's an interesting thought that certainly could excite the fan base. The Los Angeles Kings are another team that could be in play. Struggling to find the back of the net, they're among the lowest-scoring teams in the NHL. Recent chatter suggests they might be willing to entertain a trade involving Quinton Byfield for a more established scorer. If the Canucks were open to trading within the Pacific Division, a deal with the Kings could be feasible. The Kings have first-round picks in the next 3 drafts and roster players that could provide the immediate return the Canucks are seeking. Finally, let's not overlook the Florida Panthers. The reigning Stanley Cup champions are looking to make some significant moves as they aim for a repeat. With Matthew Tkachuk's long-term injury, the Panthers might view Boeser as a perfect fit to fill that offensive void. He's on pace for 28 goals, which would certainly be an upgrade over Evan Rodriguez. The challenge for the Panthers is that they lack a first-round pick to offer, but could they entice Vancouver with a future pick or prospects? It's a tough balancing act, but one that could pay dividends for both teams. Now, as a passionate Canucks fan, I can't help but wonder, what's the best decision here? Personally, I think the team needs to tread carefully. Losing Boeser without any return would be a disaster. But is trading him the right move? Could one of these destinations provide a fair deal that helps the Canucks rebuild while remaining competitive? I want to hear your thoughts. Are you optimistic about a potential trade, or would you prefer to see Boeser stay? And you, what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. The Vancouver Canucks are currently navigating some turbulent waters, particularly when it comes to the ongoing contract negotiations with Brock Boeser. Reports indicate that these talks have hit a snag, and as it stands, Boeser is feeling somewhat disrespected during this process. Rick Dhaliwal, a well-respected NHL insider, shed some light on the situation, revealing that there hasn't been any significant progress in the negotiations for about 8 months now. With the trade deadline looming on March 7th, the Canucks are exploring all options, including the possibility of trading Boeser if they feel a contract extension isn't feasible in the near future. The crux of the issue seems to center around the term length of the contract. The Canucks are pushing for a 5-year deal, while Boeser is aiming for 7 or 8 years. It's not about the money, but rather the commitment and security that a longer-term deal provides. For a player who has spent his entire career in Vancouver, 532 regular season games and 29 playoff appearances, this is a significant moment. Boeser loves the city and wants to stay, but he's also firm in his demands. It's a tough balancing act for both parties. Darren Dreger from TSN reported that the Canucks previously offered Boeser a 5-year, $40 million extension, but that offer has since been pulled off the table. This puts the organization in a precarious position, as they must now weigh their options. Are they willing to risk losing a valuable player who has shown he can contribute significantly on the ice? Or do they take the plunge and explore trade avenues to maximize their return? If they choose the latter, who could be a potential fit for the Canucks? It's clear that Vancouver is actively assessing their options. Elliotte Friedman hinted at the team looking to add more talent to their forward group, which suggests they're not just sitting idle. The Canucks are in a position where they could make a splash, but the timing is critical. Every decision made now could either set the team up for future success or lead to a setback. I can't help but feel torn about the whole situation. On one hand, I understand the business side of sports. Teams need to make decisions that will benefit them in the long run. But on the other hand, Boeser has been a loyal player for the Canucks, and it's hard to see him feeling undervalued. What does that say about the team's culture and commitment to its players? Boeser himself expressed his readiness for whatever may come. In a recent interview with Ian McIntyre from Sportsnet, he acknowledged the 3 paths before him: a trade, a renewal, or the possibility of neither happening before the deadline. It's a reality that all players face, but it doesn't make it any easier for fans who have invested so much emotionally into the team and its players. This season, Boeser has contributed 18 goals and 36 points in 53 games, proving he still has the ability to make an impact. With his current contract set to expire this summer, he'll become a restricted free agent on July 1st. That adds an extra layer of urgency to the situation. It's not just about this season, it's about the future of the franchise, and where they are headed. So what's the best path forward? Should the Canucks make a last-ditch effort to secure Boeser long-term, or is it time to explore trade options? I'm genuinely struggling with this. On one hand, locking him down could provide stability. But on the other hand, if the team doesn't see him as a core piece moving forward, perhaps trading him could yield valuable assets. And you? What do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. Are you in favor of trying to keep Boeser, or do you believe a trade would be in the best interest of the team? This is a crucial moment for the Canucks, and every decision will resonate well beyond this season. Don't forget to activate the notification bell to get all the latest updates. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe too. Stay in the loop as we follow this unfolding saga. Let's keep the conversation going, Canucks fans.